Mover Nation, we are here. It is a Monday. And if you are not on a quad somewhere on the campus of Columbia University, maybe, you're probably camping out on my Instagram. Welcome to another episode of the Collier Landry Show. And this is sort of an impromptu day. I was interviewed on the BBC yesterday on the podcast Lives Less Ordinary. And I thought, hey, we'll do an AMA. It'll be really fun. I'll bring the YouTubes back. And we'll get into it. So on that note, Mover Nation, wherever you may be and however you may be listening, thanks for making me a part of your day. I'm Collier Landry. Let's get into it.
Testimony continued today in the most notorious criminal trial in...
When I was 12 years old, my testimony sent my father to prison for murdering my mother. I decided at an early age that our trauma should not be what defines us. It's what we choose to do with it that does. I'm here to share my unique perspective on true crime, mental health, society, and popular culture, albeit with a slight sense of humor. I'm Collier Landry, and welcome to my show. Oh boy, Mover Nation. I guess there are storms coming on the East Coast. I see Cat Loves Catskills, who is one of our Florida people in St. Pete's. Everyone be safe. I guess there's some big storms headed out. We've had our storms in Southern California for the last several months. And if you watch this show, you know I've kvetched a lot about the weather here, but we have sunny and blue skies and sunny and blue skies all the way around. So, what's going on, my people? What's going on? Happy Monday. How lucky are we that we get to be here in a community, a supportive community? And thank you all, as I said, for making me a part of your day. I got no rhyme or reason with this particular episode. I just wanted to reach out to you guys, my fan base, Mover Nation, and just say, hey, thanks for being here. This is a live sort of AMA. I was on the podcast, like I said, Lives Less Ordinary on the BBC this morning. Came out, I was going to say yesterday, but since the UK is 8 hours ahead of me in in California, it was my yesterday, it was today, but whatever. Anyways, I was out, and so just welcome everybody here. I don't even know what's in the news. There's a lot that is going on in the world. A lot of people are outraged about a lot of things. I've had to make a lot of grown-up decisions in my life, and today was one of those days where I had to make a grown-up decision and turn a new chapter, new page in my personal book. And for the benefit of all involved and all of our collective mental health, I was like, got to make some changes. So, we can do hard things. It takes a lot of guts to make decisions and changes in your life, and try to do what's right. And somebody has to be the guy to make a decision. And and that dovetails a lot to my own personal story, which the title of the show Lives Less Ordinary on the BBC is How I Convinced Police That My Dad Was a Murderer. On the day his mother disappeared, 11-year-old Collier started looking for evidence. And that's how it gets into the whole thing. And how I had to make a decision to literally uproot my entire life to do what I thought was the right thing to do. And I still feel is the right thing to do. Marie Hathaway, welcome. Court McNeil, welcome. Suzanne Beverly Hills, welcome. From France, Lil Patty, welcome. Marie Hathaway, tonight, speaking of tough circumstances, the Los Angeles Lakers are in Denver playing the Denver Nuggets. I will be watching the game. I may or may not have high hopes about this, but we shall see what unfolds there in Denver in Ball Arena. But I do not anticipate my Lakers emerging victorious and making it to the next round of the playoffs. But who knows? Miracles can happen. So, hello, Collier. You've been missed. I have been going through my Collier withdrawals. Yes, I am back organizing. I have been, for those of you that don't know, a little life update. So I have been organizing my reconfiguring my place here in LA to do live in-person interviews in my setup downstairs. Also, when you start diving into a project, literally I thought it's going to take 2 weeks, and I'm doing a whole channel rebrand and I'm doing a whole yes, go Chiefs, except you guys just won the Super Bowl, so we don't have the Chiefs for a while. You dive into these projects and you're not really sure exactly what kind of an endeavor you're getting into, and then as you keep getting into it and you just got to keep plowing through it, you're like, oh man, this was a lot. So I took on a lot, and oh boy, see, I'm already tired talking about it. But reorganizing my place to make an actual proper studio setup where I can interview people live, and also have, of course, this studio setup here, but trying different things out with the channel, and I'm pretty excited about it. Collier, what a nice surprise to see you after this grocery shopping. Hello, awesome mods and fans. Yes, awesome mods and fans indeed. Karen fan, thank you for joining. Tonight I have my shirt on. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you have your. Oh, you have your Matty Soul shirt on. No, wait, you have a mug. You got a mug, right? You got your Nuggets shirt on, I'm assuming. Marie Hathaway. Anyways, there's a lot going on in the world. But I am here in an open forum for any of your questions. I was like, let's do a little AMA. But in the meantime, let's catch up with what is going on in the world of true crime, because not always my favorite thing to discuss, but man, I'll tell you. The Chad Daybell trial is going on right now, and there are so many different things that I see similarities with my father. And as you guys know, the story about my father murdering my mother and what it was like to come to terms with that. But then I see people like Chad Daybell just without any remorse in a courtroom and under these delusions of grandeur with which they operate, and it just reminds me of my father. And my heart goes out to anyone who's got to deal with that, because that is some tough stuff. And that's what I talk about, obviously, on the podcast today on BBC Live's Less Ordinary, but also why I'm here doing your live AMA. Karen Reed, yes, the Karen Reed case, and I see our good friends over at Surviving the Survivors talking about that as well. So the Karen Reed trial is going on, and she is, I didn't even think that trial was actually going to happen. She had a lot of staunch supporters, and I didn't even think it was actually going to go to trial, but it did, and we shall see how that all plays out. What a nightmare! What a nightmare! Karen Van, 2 weeks and you still haven't finished what we started months ago. Oh, is this the website? Are you talking about my website? Yes, I realize we are we are a little behind on stuff. But yeah, so I am I had hoped for a whole getting the whole channel revamped and rebranded, which is slowly happening, and creating new content and creating these nice little portals downstairs. But it's always, these things always take longer. I don't know what to say. They always take longer. It's consumed much of my life this last month, so that is why I've been gone. Marianne Haas, or Mary Alice Haas. That's what's been going on. But let's go to the Googles and see what's happening. And yes, Court McNeil, good things do take time. And look at this little flicker. This is a new thing that just started happening about 5 minutes ago before I started the live. The flicker of the camera, just for extra fun. There's always technical difficulties when you're creating this. Always technical difficulties. Karen Fan says, I don't either. I don't think she will be found guilty. Yeah, it seems like a massive political witch hunt. Hi, Tana Magnus. How are you? Welcome to the channel. Again, this is a super impromptu, just live for you guys. Just a little AMA, like I said, but nobody's asking me any questions, so it's not much of an AMA when you don't ask questions. All right, let's see what's going on here. I don't even have my proper Google Trends up to even discuss all these things. Oy vey. Well, Karen Reed. Well, it's raining cats and dogs in Portland. I'm sure it is. One question: who is the best assistant you've ever had? That would be Court McNeil. That is a great question, Court McNeil. Yes, thank you so much. And yes, Tana, the studio is coming along. It's coming along really well. It has just been a complete labor of love. And when you're also, bootstrapping it yourself, it's quite an endeavor for sure. And again, I've had my dear friend Tanya helping out, and she's designed everything in the master plan, but there's just so much that goes into it. And then you go through all of the stuff that you have in your house that you have to get rid of. Like I don't think you realize that, they always say you don't realize how much stuff you have until you have to move. Well, also till you start undertaking an endeavor. And I was looking at these older photographs of the living room, and I had stuff stashed in every corner, like pushed behind couches, and it's almost embarrassing when I look at because I have this upstairs area where we're talking now, which is the studio, which is my office and where I edit and where I obviously have created all this content that you guys have seen and do in my lives. But then I have the downstairs area, which I'm redoing, and it's almost done, to do live interviews, but also to do the show down there as well and create content down there. But I have this, upstairs angle which shows everything down there, and I thought to myself, wow, that's pretty bad because I'm looking at how I used to stash stuff behind the couches. But I will tell you, one person who really loves, or not person, but one being that really loves the new place and all of the space is Marisol, because she gets to run around everywhere and she has had a blast and she gets to play with her toys. She has space to play with her toys, and we get to sit on the couch and watch the Lakers lose together. We get to sit on the couch and watch NBA basketball. It is great. I've lived here for over 3 years, and I've never actually sat on a couch and had a television on the wall. I don't think I've ever done that since I've lived here. I mean, I know I haven't. And just watched it and be like, oh, okay. It's a very weird feeling, because now I have a living room, and it is a place to record and shoot. And I did, yes, Tana, I did keep the vegan sofa for sure. Because why not? It was free. It was free. It wasn't what I had anticipated, but it was free. Look at it in sections, not as a whole. It's overwhelming going through it now. Yes, Shell, it is. It is absolutely. It is overwhelming. I remember I had dated a girl a very long time ago, and she said her professor in college used to tell her, "How do you eat an elephant?" And she said, "How?" And he said, "1 bite at a time." And she used to tell me that, and I thought, and that was back when I was making my film Murder in Mansfield, and she's like, "You just got to take everything 1 bite at a time." I was like, you know what? That's a really, really good point. That's a really good point. Taking everything 1 bite at a time. Yes, it is incredible that you knew I was going to say Marisol. Yeah, Marisol loves her little toy area, and she, it's so funny because she now, she's about 1.5 years almost, so now we're developing like this, I don't know, puppy dad, dog dad, doggy, bond. So now she does things. It's like watching a little kid, and I haven't, the last time I had a puppy was 18 years ago. So to see her now, she brings her little toys out. She's always gonna have her certain toys that she wants to play with, and all her little friends that she brings out of her little kennel, and she puts them in the living room, and she stacks them all up around her, and it's like the cutest thing ever. It's very endearing, but she loves the space. She loves the space. I'm looking forward to it because it allowed me to create more content for you guys. That is a totally different look and a different aesthetic. And one of the things that I've wanted to develop with this channel is applying more of my filmmaker aesthetic that I have, because I'm a filmmaker and that's what I do, right? And to be able to share that is going to be really it's going to be really fulfilling for me, and you'll see the content level up, which is obviously what I'm working on now. Lynn Britton says, I have a craft room with 30 years worth of things to work on. I just keep the door closed. Yeah, much like a guy who has a garage full of like old cars and all the tools, and they're like, "I'm still gonna work on the car. I'm still gonna do," and they don't. And it's like these never ending projects. Yeah, it can very much get into that for sure. That's what I have hard drives for. Um, I've had 3 big dogs for the past 2 weeks. Feels like I'm the alpha. Follow me everywhere, even to the bathroom. Of course they do. Of course they do. They love you. That's why, Cheryl Diskel. Any cool interviews coming up? Yeah, so I do have a couple slated. I really want to have in-person interviews. My dear friend Rocky is going to join me probably the next couple weeks. She's traveling. We made a film together called 1946. Mistranslation that shifted a culture. It has been out for the last year. I talk about it sometimes on this podcast and on this show, but we've been doing that. That she's been traveling around the world with that film for now like almost a year. And but when she's in town next, we're going to get together. But as soon as the space is done, because the space is very, very, very close. I'm just tweaking, working on some final touches, but it's very, very close. I'm very excited. So yeah, my good friend Rocky Roggio, director, she worked on House of Cards, and then her and I did a couple of projects together, and then we ended up doing 1946, which is a documentary, which means it takes forever to do. I think she started in 4 years, 4.5 years. It's a lot. Documentaries take a lot of effort, and it's like a massive team, and they take a massive amount of time to put together. It's it's a real thing. And closing the door. So any other cool interviews? So yeah, I have a few more on the slate, and then I'm on a couple of podcasts that are coming out in the next couple of weeks as well. Home, Hearth, and Homicide had interviewed me. That is coming out on Mother's Day, talking about my story, of course. And then I'm talking to some mental health experts as well, to gauge some to share some tips and whatnot. I just did a replay of my latest episode on the podcast of Dr. Angel Iskovich talking about the art of routine for trauma survivors and how routine helps play a role in healing. And I talk about this a lot on my show. Hi, Jennifer Lewis Harris. How are you? I talk about this a lot on my show because routine has been something that has been very key in my own personal growth and personal development. Oh, and by the way, something I totally forgot about, I just thought of today. Today is Monday, April 29th, and on May 1st, my father will be 81 years old. And that is a really hard thing to think about, because it has been many years since I've seen him. And 81 years old. And that means that he has been incarcerated for 34 years, which is absolutely wild to me when you think about it. And that's one of the things when I was talking a lot about true crime is the consequences. Like nobody thinks about the consequences of their actions and what the mechanics are in actually taking a life, getting away, trying to get away with something, trying to outsmart police, or thinking that you're smarter than a team of people. And it's one of the things that David Messmore and I talked about in the film A Murder in Mansfield, but we've talked about as well whenever we get together, is just the sort of the hubris of just how criminals think that they are just smarter than everyone. And my father was not the exception. He was the rule. He was not smarter. Cat loves cat skills. Thank you so much for the super sticker. So I've stopped driving to go eat something unhealthy. It's been quite the day. I'm sure it has. Cat was also joined us yesterday. So we have live members only meet and greets every month, VIP member only meet and greets, which are available to YouTube channel members and also to Patreon supporters as well. And it's a meet and greet where we all get to sit and talk and everything. But Cat, who lives in St. Petersburg, was at the Salvador Dali Museum yesterday. And so we got to see the Salvador Dali Museum in the background, this beautiful, beautiful, amazing building. And if you live in St. Petersburg, check it out. I've never seen it. I'm supposed to be going to St. Petersburg, I think in the beginning of June now, by the way, beginning of June. So I can't wait to see what happens and to go and be able to see that building. I don't know how long I'll be there for because I'm going to film, but they've given me a tentative date of like June the 3rd. So, which is great because I get to lose more weight before I have to be in front of the camera. And I have lost, since we're just talking about personal stuff and it doesn't really matter. I started, so I'm a big fitness junkie, and I work out every day and I love fitness. And back many years ago, I was a fitness model, and we're talking like 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago. Oh my God, that's terrible. Um, but I was very religious about like how I ate, what I ate, and I still am now. I still eat very healthy, but one of the things was is for the last like 6 months, I've been working out like a madman, but I haven't been losing any weight. I kept saying to myself, "Well, why am I not losing any weight?" And I realized, and this was now 3 weeks ago, so a little over 3 weeks ago. So this would have been set Friday, April. What would have been April 4th, 5th, something like that. What was yesterday? So the 20th. So there have been 7:20, the 7th, 5th. Yeah, the 4th, 5th. Friday, April 5th, I was leaving the gym and I was so ravenous, so hungry. I worked out so hard, and I'm eating a protein bar, and I just chewed through it. Then I went to go get some chicken at the Chinese place, like some just chicken. And of course, they give you the rice. I don't eat the rice. I try to get the chicken and the vegetables, and they just pile it on in the thing. And I'm just eating. I'm ravenous, and I'm eating it. And I kind of stopped halfway through it, and I thought, am I actually thinking about like how many calories I've been putting in my body? Like, this is something, because literally to no avail. I have, because I cut out sugar, I cut out, I cut out a bunch of stuff that, not that I was eating poorly to begin with, but I literally started thinking like, how many calories am I actually downing? And then what happened is I downloaded this app called MyFitnessPal. This is not a promo for them, by the way, but this is just me talking. And I had used this a long time ago, and it allows you to track your calories, and it's so handy because you can even scan barcodes of stuff that you normally eat. Like for me, I make a protein shake, right? So I have the protein powder and I have the this and the that, or like I add the berries. So the berries have they come in a bag, right? The frozen berries or what have you, or you eat almonds, they come, everything comes in a plastic bag, unfortunately, because it's so toxic for you. But what can you do? But I started just scanning and tracking everything, and I was astonished. I was like, I am I am eating so many calories. And I can get it. If I was in my early 20s, like I was 20 some years ago, I get away with it. Now you can't you can't get away with it, no matter how hard you work out. And but the good news is that I literally started tracking everything. I got rid of all the little snacky things, and I'm talking like popcorn. I'm talking like any sort of, because I have no self control over that stuff. I got rid of everything, and I've lost 12 pounds in the last 2.5 weeks, and I'm very excited. All by using this app and literally tracking my calories. This is, we're just talking about random stuff. This is what I'm talking about. This is just random stuff, and I literally just went through all of it. And I was like, and it didn't matter how squeaky clean I ate. I was just eating too much. And I thought, wow. And then you start kind of going back and forth. And one of the things that, and somebody had just discovered one of my videos, I was talking about sobriety, right? And quitting alcohol. I remember years ago, I got this Aura ring, and it was one of the things I got when I quit drinking. I was like, oh, I'll get this Aura ring. And Aura tracks your health and like your metrics and your sleep and all that stuff. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, I got this after I quit drinking. Because I was curious, like, how did alcohol affect my sleep? Because I started noticing, and what started out as just a challenge of I'm going to quit for like 30 days, turned into 60, turned into 90, turned into 6 months. And you just start feeling so much better that you just are like, okay, well, I feel amazing. So like, why would I put poison in my body again? So that was like four years ago. One of the things I did, so I have no reference, because I'm not going to start drinking again, just so I can see how bad it screws up my sleep, right? But so I never had that. But what I did do is I went into this app and I logged a day like weeks ago, just so it didn't affect what I was currently doing. And I said, okay, so I used to drink like these beers, and then I would have this, and then if I was feeling frisky and I want to eat. So you leave the bar with your friends. You're like, oh, I want some tacos. Let's go. Because everywhere in LA, they either have taco trucks sitting outside bars, or they have they literally will make hot dogs, and they take like a baking sheet, and they put it on like this, it's like a grill essentially. They make a griddle out of, like, I don't even know what, and they put it on this, and they're cooking them on these baking sheets as if it's a griddle with these bacon wrapped hot dogs. And I don't like hot dogs or really bacon for that much, to be honest with you, even though I have coconut bacon in my cabinet. But I I started thinking, like, what would I eat? And I normally wouldn't have eaten one of those, but I would go for the tacos. So I started adding up all those calories, and oh my god, I was astonished at how much. Like, we're talking like 4,500 calories if you start, like, really going out and going hard with your friends. And then you just eat, and because when you're drunk, you're like, I'm gonna eat anything. Let's get French fries. And then you think about it. So I did that just for fun. Now, obviously, I don't eat that stuff anymore, and I wouldn't eat that unless I was, like, intoxicated, which I haven't been for a very, very long time. But thanks, was started tracking this. God, this is a random show. Somebody's like, "Hey, Collier, I love your show today." I'm so glad somebody does. Marie Hathaway, thank you so much for the super sticker, by the way. Parte Tina has arrived. Parte Tina. So if you were not, if you were not part of the VIP membership members meet and greet last night, Parte Tina, I hope your mother is doing better, and there were some issues there. Hello from Rhode Island. Hey, Sheila Collins, how are you? Lifelong learner, thank you so much. Too many people don't even care what the consequences are, and the truth doesn't matter to them either. I don't even want to get into that, lifelong learner, but you are so right. No one is even everybody just wants to only hear their own opinion echoed back to them. They don't really care about the truth. If you feel some way, and I don't know how we got to this being so polarizing. I think about it. There's a book that came out. It's called The Algebra of Finance, I believe, or The Algebra of Wealth, by Scott Galloway, and he talks about young men being disillusioned and things like that. I don't mean to get off into a whole other tangent, but just how people are they only want to hear what they want to hear, that they don't really care about the truth. And we see this play out in politics, but we also see this play out in just our friendship circles. And it's really sad, because we don't have that normal. I mean, I just remember growing up with my friends, and even still now, we don't agree with something, but we don't just get angry. And I even heard, Taylor Swift's new album came out a couple weeks ago, which is fantastic, by the way. And I'm not like a Taylor Swift fan, but like I listen to Taylor Swift and I go, oh yeah, she's really talented. Like, no wonder she's so popular. Like, her songs are really good. In fact, I remember I was at a convention a few months ago, and they were playing a Taylor Swift like sing along, and every song that would come on, I'd be like, that's Taylor Swift. That's Taylor Swift. Like, I had no idea. Like, I've heard a bunch of her songs. I just didn't realize it was Taylor Swift. One of them would be Lavender Haze, by the way, because it's on my gym playlist. Had no idea it was her. Anyways, so people were talking about how Taylor Swift is dividing people because they don't like her music, or somebody does like their music, and so then that's polarized. And you talk about, it's like, we're talking about music. And I know it's like Stones, Beatles, but like, nobody was going to like disown people over Stones, Beatles arguments back in the day. You know what I mean? I got my own opinion on that. I've weighed in on that. It's just, to me, it's so crazy. Who wants to live like that? Remember, muscle weighs more than fat. Just say, my muscles are bigger. Yeah, I mean, I like to say that, but I, again, lost the 12 pounds, and I'm very excited. Very, very excited about my new fitness kick. Tina Luffman says, thanks to all reach out. Thankfully, it wasn't her heart. They did an iron infusion. Her low blood count caused her chest pain. Well, I'm so glad. Yes, Jennifer Lewis Harris, communication is important. Absolutely. And I'm glad everybody is doing better. Yeah, some people, obviously, Shell, obviously Tana, yes, some people always want to battle. And yes, thank you so much, Shell. I like to think of, yeah, great job. Woohoo. Yeah. So I did post some of my workouts. I did post one of my workouts in the member section, just to see, and everybody liked the video. I was even showing it to my hairstylist the other day. I was like, here, check this out. And he goes, oh, that's a really good, but she's going to kill me. And he's like, you never comb your hair the way I show you. I'm like, yeah, because I don't know. I need more mirrors in this place. I don't have enough mirrors. I realized that this morning I was filming something. I was like, I can't even see. Make sure you says Sheila Collins, make sure you read labels for all the preservatives that are in food. I've been doing this and I've lost about 18 pounds. Yeah, I definitely, I buy mostly organic stuff, and I also read all the labels very religiously. I try not to put anything fake in my body. The only thing I probably eat that is fake is, vegan burgers sometimes, and um, protein bars, and that's about it. I don't like processed nothing. No, no, no. No, 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 no. There's hold on, Jennifer Lewis Harris. Beautiful. Yes, it is. Been sober for a long time, which really annoys me when people come on the show and they're like, I can tell you're not. I'm like, guys, like, sorry, I am. Like, it's been a long time. Now, Jennifer Lewis Harris, this is the most important comment. There is an Indian biryani truck in the neighborhood I grew up in now. That is an amazing thing. That is an amazing truck. If there was one of those around here, I would be well, no, I wouldn't lose the 12. I wouldn't have lost the 12 pounds. That's for sure. There used to be, I used to live in Silver Lake, Los Feliz area, and there's a fabulous, or at least it was, I think it closed down after the pandemic. There's a fabulous Indian restaurant called India's Restaurant. It is on, well, it's Hyperion. It's really Fountain, but when it crosses over Sunset Boulevard in Silver Lake and Echo Park area, I mean, I guess it's like Silver Lake, yeah, Los Feliz area. It becomes Hyperion Avenue, but it's on technically Hyperion, right past the church, the big church of Scientology. If you guys have ever seen that, right next to it, it's called India's Restaurant. They used to have an all-you-can-eat buffet, and once a month, I would go there and I would tear it up. I would go to the gym in the morning. I would say I wouldn't eat all day. I'd go there. I think it was from 11 to 2, and I would go in at about 1 o'clock, and I would make myself sick. I wouldn't necessarily make myself sick, but that's probably the wrong thing to say. I would make myself exhausted, because Indian food also, I don't think is the most energizing of food. It has a lot of cream in it. It was so delicious though. And I would just, I would tear it up. It was amazing. Amazing. So I share your enthusiasm about the biryani truck, is all I'm going to say. RL Foes, yes, alcohol it messes up your sleep. And this is something that I learned a long time ago when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I can't believe I said that. When I was a young man, I remember reading a study talking about an enzyme that alcohol releases in your bloodstream, which really affects your sleep. And I guess I never thought about it into adulthood, but yeah, it's a big deal. It is a big deal. Yeah, exactly, Jennifer Lewis Harris. It is too good to pass. I'm sure it must be amazing. I enjoy those, your workout videos, all that passion. Your hair looks great. You've got great hair. Don't listen to people. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, I'm so lucky that I have my hair. Thank you so much. 2011 Kathy D. You handsome devil. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I try not to be too devilish. Hardest thing for me, says Cheryl Driscoll, is drinking enough water. I'm really good at water. But then I just read there's an article on Apple News. I think I saved it on my phone. Apple News Plus saying the dangers of drinking too much water. Like, now too much water is bad for you. And I get it. And I guess apparently, Brooke Shields turned blue on set because she was drinking too much water. And, it does mess with your electrolytes and things you need to replenish. There are a lot of people that are very obsessed with drinking like ionized water or water that is like sort of robbed of everything that you need. So it's just water, literally H2O. There's no other minerals in it. And that can be bad for you. I guess it really is that like too much of anything in excess could be bad for you. I try to drink plenty of water. Yeah, that's my thing. That's my jam. I drink a lot of water. Sharita Hall, how's things? How are you? Thank you so much. And thank you for commenting on my hair. Adding hydration to water so it's more hydrating. Yeah. Or adding, I always add little salt and lemon to my water in the mornings. I drink put a little pink Himalayan salt in there, and then a little bit of lemon juice, and boom, adds natural electrolytes, little salts. Yeah, it's a thing. And Court McNeil says you have to drink a lot of water to push all those electrolytes out. It's happened to my stepdad, and he fainted flat on his face. Yeah, and yesterday I was at the gym and I started feeling a little woozy, and I thought, did I maybe, and I got some sodium in me and I felt better. I had some pistachios that I ate. Cucumber in the water. That's what we call the spa water out here, Karen Fan. All the healthy food talk while I'm having a slice of cheese pizza and shoving a slice of cheese pizza in my face. That's okay. Cat Loves Catskills. Is it good cheese pizza is really all there is to it, because you are a New Yorker and you guys are known for your pizza. And Los Angeles, California LA has great pizza. It's just so different. It's just so different than New York pizza. New York pizza is amazing. But yeah, lemon is a good liver detox. That's good to know. That I didn't know. It does definitely seem to take down your appetite. That's for sure. So, yeah, I don't know what I was talking. What I was going off on a tangent. Started talking about Indian food. I started talking the MyFitnessPal app. So yeah, I log all my calories. I decided that I'm going to only try to eat 1,600 calories a day, which for me is pretty aggressive because I'm 6'1", 200. Well, now I'm 215 pounds, something like that. 14 pounds now. Yeah. 12 pounds. Yeah. And I'm a big guy, but, so I need about like 2,600 calories. So I'm cutting 1,000 calories off, but then you add in your exercise and you cut it back. But yeah, the app, the whole point of me telling this entire story has been the app is amazing. It's really helped me. It's really helped me lose weight. And it's been fantastic. And yeah. It has been great. Sharita Hall says, I wish I could introduce you to my daughter. Well, bring her on the show. And but take it from me, I will not be getting involved in any relationships anytime soon. Now watch, that'll come back to bite me in the ass one of these days. But no. I'm enjoying just, yeah. It's time to focus. One of the things is you got to kind of just, at some point in your life, you got to just say it's about me, and I have to move forward and do what's best for me. I spend a lot of time, and I'll talk about this in another video, but this is just random. A lot of time trying to placate others or trying to do things for other people, trying to help them, trying to make things happen for them, trying to instill drive and passion into them to make things happen. And you have to realize at a certain point, you can't do that. You have to do for you. You can't instill will into other people. Yeah, I'm in a complete rebuilding mode. Absolutely, Jennifer Lewis Harris. She is married, but having too much fun. I guess I like to window shop. That's funny. Yes, thank you, Court McNeil. I come first. Appreciate that. Yeah. Anyways, MyFitnessPal down 12 pounds. You can buy the plus plan, and that's where you can scan everything, and then it all coordinates. Somebody had asked me about the watch that I wear. This is a Garmin Phoenix. This is a fitness watch. I used to have an Apple Watch. I love the Apple Watch. I think they're super cool, but it's connected to the phone, so you keep getting dings and bells and whistles and this and that. Plus, the battery life is terrible. I wanted something that doesn't attach to the phone, doesn't send me a notification of everything, because I got the phone. I don't need the watch to do that for me too. And this watch can do that, by the way. You can set it up to give yourself alerts, but it was very easy to turn all that off, and it's been like that for 2 years, and I'm very, very pleased with that. Tina Levin says, I've seen on Instagram adding salt to their water, a certain brand for electrolytes. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, just adding salt does add electrolytes. And look, I'm not a nutritionist. Again, I am not a lawyer. I am not a psychologist. I am not in law enforcement. I am just a guy who's been through a lot of shit. So I'm just sharing my perspective, but on what works for me. And yes, Karen Fan says that drives me nuts. With my watch, figured out how to change all those notifications on my watch. Yeah, and the Apple Watch is amazing. Like that new Apple Watch, the Endurance one or whatever, that's supposed to compete with the Garmin. And I mean, for me, that's also the battery life too. like you want the battery life to last, like it's got to work. It's got to work for you. Like the things that you have in your life around you have to work for you. If they're not working for you, why do you have them? That to me is the biggest thing. That's one of the things that is a piece of life advice. That is one of the things that I have learned in the last several months is that when things are not serving you, you don't need them in your life. If it's not serving you, and if you're not, if they're not serving you and it's not working for you, you've got to just you just got to move on. And from whatever that is, or get it out of your life. And I'm not talking about people. I mean, I am talking about people, but I'm not specifically speaking about people. I'm just talking about even just clutter. There's so much clutter even on this desk, and I'm like, what can I get rid of, or what can I repurpose, and what can I give away? I'm giving a lot of stuff away. I have this table, and somebody was telling me the other day. I heard about you talk about the table on the podcast. And I'm sure I talked about it right here on the podcast, or right here on the show. I I had this table downstairs, and I bought it a couple of months ago, and IKEA changed their return policy. I thought it was 6 months. It was only 3 months. And so then I was like, I'm going to post it on Facebook Marketplace and sell it. And then somebody saw it and they commented, they said, "Oh, that's that's the table you were talking about in the show." Anyways, my neighbors downstairs, I was going to post it on Facebook Marketplace, sell it. I didn't get any bites after about 20 minutes. And I said, after about 20 minutes, I was like, let me just text all the neighbors and say, hey, do you guys want this? The one neighbor was like, oh, well, anyways, it turns out one of my neighbors that lives right below me, they're from Tunisia. They were going to move. They're now not moving back to Tunisia. They're going to stay here in the United States. They're going to stay in Santa Monica, which I'm like, that sounds like a good thing to me. Because even though the kids are noisy and things like that, they are really good neighbors. I really like my neighbors. I like all my neighbors. And, but it turns out that their table broke. And so I sent them the thing. And they said, our table literally just broke the day before. Our table just broke the day before. And now you get it. And the table is brand new. I literally bought it. I didn't use it. I put clutter on it. And then I changed the whole format of the downstairs. I got this high top table with these bar stools. It looks really cool. And I'm like, it was just sitting here taking up space. And, and it was heavy too. And they ended up taking it. So they lost the table. They ended up getting mine. Now they got a brand new table, which folds up. They stick in the corner. It's great. It worked out for everybody. And thought to myself, like, that makes me feel so good that, like, when she told me, she's like, yeah, our table just broke. I thought, that's amazing. That's incredible. Yeah. And we all need to downsize too. Yes, I do play guitars. Yes, I will start playing them on the show. This is my last week of getting my bearings back together. And as I said, my father's going to be 81 on Wednesday, and he's still incarcerated. But for those of you that don't know, my father is probably getting out on parole this year, which is a whole other thing that I got to deal with. What a mess. That's life. That's how it goes. But yes, I do. Karen Fan, you're absolutely right. I do love it when things work out. I love it when like you can give something to like somebody and they appreciate it. It's like, and for them, just when they said, oh, our table just broke, and I'm like, I can give you this table. I felt really good about it. I came upstairs. I was like, God, I feel that really makes me happy. Really makes me happy. Because like would I have appreciated getting $100 off of Craigslist or Marketplace or whatever? I would call it Craigslist. Everything's Craigslist. Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, of course I would. I need the money, right? But then I'm like, this is something that like impacts their family, and it just makes you feel good. That you can't put a price on, at least not for me. Yes, I do play though. To answer your question, Sharita Hall, I do play. I will. I'm going to start making some more videos with the guitar as well. Yes, and absolutely, my cart wouldn't have felt very good. It feels much better now. Collier, you have had an extraordinary life. No kid should have to go through what you went through. I hope and pray that only good things come your way. I love it when you're a happy man. Thank you so much. I love it when I'm happy too. I had a great weekend. I went down this thing. My buddy, my good friend Danny, is started working for this company called Chubbies, which has a YouTube channel. Of course, they make like swim trunks, and I think they make stuff for girls too, but mostly like men's like swim trunks and shorts, or they're shorts you can go in the water with. So they're like kind of like designer. They look kind of cool with patterns, but you go in the water with them. They're it's like swimwear. and he did an event. He was like, "Hey, you come out or whatever." But I had a bunch of stuff, and I got a free bottle. I should have brought it up here because I want to do a giveaway. I told him, if you send me some free stuff, I'm going to give it away on the channel. So they're supposed to send me a box, and I'll give away the Chubby stuff. I'll do a little quick promo about them, and hopefully they'll give me stuff to wear too. But I thought it was really fun. But I did a little video down there, a little short. I had a blast. I normally don't take time for myself like that. I was like, let me just go down to the beach because I love the beach. I went down and supported my friend. I walked around and filmed a little bit of content for the members section and for Patreon, which is coming out in a couple of days. Did some cool stuff there, but and I filmed the video of the event, which was funny because it's so massive and yeah, it was funny. I was like, oh, spatially for the camera, but he does camera stuff, so he had a whole camera team there. They're running around filming everything, but yeah. So anyways, I will do, I'm making the video for the member section, but I'm also going to have the video, going to get a box of stuff, which I will give away on the channel. We'll do a giveaway. It'll be really fun in the next week or two. Yes. I'm so interested in this news. Mary Alice Haas. Yes. And I will do a video about that as well, about my father. Yeah. I talked to, last time I was home, talked to Dave Messmore, the detective from the case, and he was saying it's going to be really tough for him to still remain incarcerated. And I have mixed feelings about it too. I really don't know what I think about that. Love me some Chubby merch. Yes, Donna. I'm sure you would. Canadian here. But if the good doc gets out on parole, does he not have to stay in Ohio? How does he think he's going to live with? Oh yeah, he's not going to live with me. No. I can barely take care of myself, let alone my father. Yes, people remember to like this. Yes, thank you. Please drop a like. Please drop a subscribe. Thank you so much, Mary Alice Haas. I appreciate it. Mary Alice Haas. Every time I see your name, I think of Haas avocados, by the way. I think of avocados, which is a great thing because I love avocados. My younger sister has the Apple Watch, and every time she talks into it, she reminds me of Penny from Inspector Gadget. Oh, Penny from Inspector Gadget. Yes. That's funny. We've all just dated ourselves, by the way, in this live for sure. Inspector Gadget. Inspector Gadget. I agree with that, Mary Alice Haas. Well, first of all, Sharita, why is it hard to keep him? I don't have the financial means to support another individual in my household, despite what everyone might think. As we continue to build this channel, it will grow, but it is very, that's why all of your patronage and everything and all the support the members give and Patreon supporters, it all helps to keep the lights on, because it's a lot. But yeah, I don't know if he would ever I don't know how when you're 80 some year old man who's been incarcerated for 34 years, how you end up actually functioning in the world. I part of me thinks it's could be inhumane. Part of me thinks, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I hope that man lives as long as he can, because that is my genetic petri dish, as I've said many times on the show. But it is take a spread in the news journal for the guys to hide their girlfriends. Take a spread in the news journal. Not sure. No, I don't want you to keep him. I meant in prison. Oh yeah. I mean, it'd be hard for him to keep him in prison for sure. Thank you so much, Black Widow, for joining, for showing up scandalously late. No, you're all good. Isn't it really scandalously late for you as well? You were probably over on Surviving the Survivor, and that's okay. Thank you so much, Linda Smith. Love your positive energy. Yeah. There's only one way to be. Yeah, no, he's not moving in here. I don't think he can either. I also don't think my father could even move in with me, because he has to stay in the state of Ohio. I wouldn't assume that he would be able to do that at all. So yeah. So I think what his plan is, Cat Loves Catskill, since you mentioned that, is what one of his plans was, and he wrote this whole thing when he was up for parole before, is he's going to go stay at seminary, I guess, a theological seminary in Columbus, Ohio. That is his plan, where he can go and continue his academic studies of the Bible and all things biblical. And look, you know what I mean? That's, blue skies, green lights. But yeah, it's I just can't imagine. I think about sorry for the yawn. I think about the Shawshank Redemption, which was also ironically filmed in Mansfield, Ohio. I think about the Shawshank Redemption and how when Brooks, the character of Brooks, played by James Whitmore, is that who played him? I think it was James Whitmore. Old actor, was in like films for gajillion years. I think his career spanned like 6 decades or something. Brooks, was played by James Whitmore. He gets out and he had been incarcerated for like 50 years. And he got out and he's like working in a grocery store and he's like writing this letter back to the guys, and Red, played by Andy Dufresne, played by Tim Robbins, is, I believe, reading the letter, and Red, played by Morgan Freeman, is in there. And they're all talking around the lunch table. He's reading the thing, but Brooks had taken his own life because nothing made sense. Nothing made sense for him. And, the world had changed so much. And I think about how the world changed so much and has changed so much since you think about, he was incarcerated since 1990. So essentially the 80s, I mean, back, mobile phones were little suitcases and computers looked like this. Computers legit looked like this. It's so wild to even think about that. Like, I have this thing on my desk, which the sun is completely faded. This used to have a nice little orange, like, or red IBM logo. This is just faded, kind of a bummer. But the computers used to look like this, and now they literally look like this. It's so wild when you think about it. How things have changed. How things have changed so much since then, and someone getting out of prison and having to deal with society and changes. It's a different planet. It's a different world, man. It's 5 years ago is a different world. 10 years ago is a different world. I mean, it's just yeah, it's crazy. I just rewatched that movie recently, says Jennifer Lewis Harris. Yeah, it's a fantastic movie, by the way. Yes, Blackwater, thank you so much. Some old folks home. Absolutely. But who knows what the current economic state of, like, what that even looks like, And yes, Shell, too much H2O flushes vitamins and minerals out. I do my body weight plus half in a drink. Oh yeah, I drink alkaline water as well. Crazy different. Absolutely. Absolutely, Black Widower. Brooks was here. Good one. Nice. Kudos to Black Widower for dropping a little Easter egg from the scene from Shawshank Redemption. Yes, when he carves his name, Brooks was here on the beam, and then Red does it, and so is Red at the end of the movie. It's a great movie. Fantastic movie. Do you know if your dad WWA in con? I don't know. I don't know what you mean by that comment. I don't know. When you rewrite it, Linda Smith, and I'll know. I don't know what WWA in can or in con is. Yes, you remember those IBM computers? Yes, Sharita Hall, he has a life sentence, but with the possibility of parole. But even now, like, he's under old law, so he has to go in front of parole. But he nowadays, when you get sentenced for something like that crime, you would have to, you just get a minimum, like a minute, like a mandatory sentence, and then on the last day they let you out. You serve your sentence, they let you out the door. There's no parole process or anything like that. It's very interesting how sentencing guidelines have changed significantly over the last few decades. Question: can your father write a book about his life and profit from it now? He claimed the last time I talked to him that he was writing a book. That was a couple years ago when he corresponded with me. All that correspondence has been lost, which is kind of a shame. Do you know if your dad was in correspondence with any family member at all this time? Yes, he was. He has been in contact with different people that I don't think really want to talk to him. From what they've said. Thank you for rephrasing the question, for rewriting the question, Linda Smith. Yeah, he could write a book. He said he's writing a book. I don't know what his book would be about, probably about lies. Yeah, he would torture me. Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. He's not a well person. And I'm going to keep my distance as much as possible. Well said. Great advice. I weed my idiot garden as needed. Sometimes it means loving people from afar. Serenity is number one. I don't do lopsided friendships either. They are energy vampires. I would agree with that. It is very hard. Yeah, but even life is not life anymore. It's but yeah. He got 21 and a half years, and then it was parole, but which again, this is something that's really interesting to sort of debate. And I haven't really had a chance to have this debate on the show, but many people do think, when you think about it, is it really is it humane to let someone out when they haven't been given the skills to fend for themselves? I mean, literally to let them out the door and say, blue skies, green lights, see you later. What do you do with that? Like, what does that even look like? Like, who knows? I don't know. It's a terrifying thing to think about too, and I remember at the end of my film, when I had the whole situation with my father, and I remember the pastor came up to me and he goes, prison turns men into babies. And it's something, and they even talk about the Shawshank Redemption, like, you can't do certain things. Everything requires permission, right? Permission to use a restroom, permission to shower, permission to eat, permission to sleep, permission to exercise, go use the yard, etc., etc. And everything is in order and everything is regimented and there's structure to it. And then if you have a life and you have free will, right? Like, it's the sort of what is that? The paradox of choice, which is often more paralyzing than having no choices. Or being restricted is having too many choices. We see this happen a lot with people who suffer from entitlement issues. And again, I'm not pathologizing anyone or psychoanalyzing anyone, but you see that with people who grow up with privilege or entitlement issues, and they have so much choice, and they don't make decisions, or they don't do things for themselves, or can't do things for themselves because they begin so much. And I think even the same thing in the same way with being with being incarcerated and then being set free, and now you have all this choice, and how do you even manage that? That I think can be becoming paralyzing. Yeah, it is a scary thing for sure. And Blackwater says, thank you so much, Gracie. I appreciate it. I try to have a good heart. I do my best. Not trying to be rude, but he was so inhumane to you and your mom. Seems like he should just have to stay in his natural life. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. No, he can't be a doctor again. And I don't, he is up for parole again. I don't think they'll keep him in again. Many people think the same thing. So we'll see. It's also like expensive to maintain inmates that are older too, as well. So I'm sure they probably want him to get out so they don't have to pay for him. Again, all these prisons are all about money. So it's kind of like that. Well, thank you so much, Sharita Hall. You're so tough. You can handle anything. I appreciate it. Yeah, and he could get, and he could get. Obviously, I'm sure there are things that he can get, help with, and he would get. But I'm wondering, would he get Social Security, or how would he get an income? Yeah, that's what I'm wondering too. Would you live on some sort of stipend? How does that work? You know what I mean? It's interesting. Oh, it's a lot to think about. It's a lot to think about. Anyways, Mover Nation, we get through another one. Thank you all for tuning in. And if you have not, because we've only had one live since I made this, but we have a new ending. I'll see you. Mover Nation, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to all my channel members and Patreon supporters. And for more exclusive content, behind the scenes videos, monthly VIP meet and greets and watch parties, please consider supporting me on Patreon or by becoming a YouTube channel member. If you like this video, check out this one right here or this one right here. And don't forget to like and subscribe because it helps with the algorithm. On that note, I'm Collier Landry. I'll see you on the next one. Good girl, Marisol. Good girl.